What up, you Timmons here. Here's my review for the new Wes Anderson film, The French Dispatch. Now, The French Dispatch, pretty much is once again is the latest movie by Wes Anderson, who's directed some really cool movies such as The Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore, Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel. This definitely feels a little bit like in the vein of the Grand Budapest Hotel. To be honest, yeah, it's definitely a really intriguing film, in my opinion. Here you got this character named Arthur Houseworth Jr., the editor of the editor of the New York the news paper on the French Dispatch dies suddenly of a following one final farewell issue, and so like in pretty much in which three articles from his past editions of the papers are published along with avatar. So this pretty much is a love letter to journalists set in the outposts of an American newspaper in the fictional 20th century French city that pretty much brings life to a collection of stories published in the French Dispatch. The first one includes the concrete masterpiece where Moses ran after this mentally disturbed artist serving a prison sentence for murder, paints a abstract nude portrait of Simone, who's like this prisoner officer with whom he also develops a bargaining relationship. And so, like Julian Casazio is also this art dealer serving like a sentence for tax evasion, and is merely taken by the opinion after seeing it in a prisoner art exhibition. And so, like 3 years after later, Casazio and mob of artists, angry at the lack of any further pains, ends up bribing their way into the prison to force Rosen Dyer to come up with something and discover that he has painted a series of frescoes, manifestos by Luisa Cormatzes, who pretty much reports on a student protest breaking out on the street of Inui that soon boils over the chessboard revolution. And despite her insistence on maintaining journalistic integrity, she has like a brief romance with Zeffirelli, who's like the self-styled leader in the revolt. Then another one, then the last one is pretty much the title, the private dining room of police commissioner. This is pretty much like an anthology story if you really look at it. And pretty much like Wes Anderson's first foray into the anthology thing. Like this definitely could have easily been a TV show, like an anthology TV show, to be honest, yeah. But anyway, so like of course here you got like where like during this TV interview, wrote Buck Wright pretty much recounts the story of his attending a private dinner with Commissioner Sarah of the new police force, and he's pretty much prepared for by the legendary police officer slash chief lieutenant Ness Kaffler. And like the dinner is disrupted when the commissar's son Gigi is kidnapped and held for ransom by criminals. And so, like after a series of integrations, the police also discover that the kidnappers hide out and begins a stakeout here. So, like following the shootout, Gigi also managed to sneak out a message in Morse code to send the cook, Lieutenant Nescaffer, is also sent home into the kidnappers hideout here. So yeah, you got some really intriguing storylines here. The French and you got some really cool cast members here. Like in the French Dispatch office, you got Bill Murray who plays the role of Arthur Howard